everyone and welcome to my studio. I'm Diane and today I've had a little tidy up of my working area, and because it's a bit tidier now than it was and because I was thinking about showing you how to do some pen and ink work, I thought I would just have a quick chat about some of my materials which I've got here to show you some things that you may not have come across before. So, okay, first of all, if you're going to do watercolours, you do need a range of brushes. You don't need to spend an awful lot of money on the brushes, but I find that these 5 are pretty much all I need for most of what I do. So these are a nylon brush, synthetic brush. They're Japanese. You can get something similar to this on Amazon very easily. I've put some links underneath in the description to something similar to this, not this specific one, but something similar, which I will be buying once these are worn out, and they are beginning, some of them are beginning to be a little bit less than pointed. This is a number 14. I've got a 14, an 11, a 9, a 7, and this one here is a 5. So when I bought these, I decided I would go for alternate numbers like that. So 5, 7, 9, 11, and then the odd one out is the 14. So that covers most of your needs. This one is for details, obviously. If you're painting quite small, you'll use this one, and so on. This is good for the backgrounds and for covering large areas like skies and so on. So that's the brushes that I use, just in case you're interested. So we'll put those out the way for the minute. And just a few minutes ago, I did a quick sketch of a dragonfly using pencil and wash. This is watercolour pencil, and I've got 3 or 4 different kinds here, which all have completely different characteristics. And one of my favourites is this one, which is getting a little bit worn out. I've got more of them, which is a Staedtler Aquarell, and that one melts very darkly into the water. When you put water on a painting, this one goes very dark. But I've also got this one here, which is the Koh-i-Noor Gioconda Aquarell, which doesn't go anywhere near as dark, and when you draw with it you get this kind of effect. So it doesn't go particularly dark. Also there is, I have a Derwent, Rexel Cumberland Derwent Sketching Watercolour pencil, and that is also very light, nothing like this one. I just want to point this out because I do talk about the watercolour pencils and I just want to point out that they vary. That's another one of those. And then I've got this also, which is interesting, which is a Conte pencil. Is kind of like pastel or charcoal or whatever, but it also dissolves in the water. So you've got lovely dark lines, and then when you take a brush and you put water onto it, you can get it to dissolve. And you see how that's very different from this one, which is very dark, but doesn't move so much. So it's really good because when you go like that, it's quite light, but when you go into the water, it's much darker. And that's quite handy. Isn't that clever? So you wet the area, and as you go into it, you get that effect, which obviously is pretty cool. Quite expressive, so I like that. This one, the Gioconda, doesn't do the same thing at all, nor does the Derwent. So if you want to try to copy my effects, you'll need to get one of these. Description below, Staedtler watercolour pencil, with links to Amazon. Okay, so today I am going to do a video on this. This is not the video on this, but that is what I'm going to be doing, so have a look out for that. All that is a very light sketch, a very light wash, a little bit of this pencil, or you could use ink. Now everybody knows about this kind of dry liner, a Staedtler pigment liner, and with this you can draw a dragonfly. Similar to what I just did with the other one. And you can, with that, you can draw the veins, you can draw the antennae, using it very lightly. And then basically what I did with the other one, I did that in pencil, and then I went in with super light washes, just very, very light, and worked on it like that. So these are really handy. They don't run, they are completely stable, and you can use those for any kind of fine work that you need. So I recommend you have some of those. But something that's a little bit more fun is working with ink. This is a waterproof, water-soluble transparent ink with a matte finish. It's just ink. And one of the fun things you can do with this, if you can get it open, I'm going to end up with it all over my hands, but never mind. It's got a dropper mechanism on the top of it, but I don't really want to use that. I have one of these. This is from Holbein. It's a Japanese pen, dip pen. And if you feel like expressing yourself and doing something a little bit random, you can use that. So I have no idea how this is going to come out. So for the dragonfly, we'll just do some body segments, and then the wings. Okay, and obviously you can do, much more than that, but this is quite fun because it is a little bit unpredictable and more interesting than the Staedtler pens. You never really quite know what's going to happen when I'm drawing. If you use the back of this, it gives a nice kind of scritchy effect. Okay, having done that, we could pick up a brush and see what happens when we add water. At this point, probably best to let it dry. And see what comes out of that. So that was fun. Be a bit more here, perhaps. Maybe that's a bit too dark. So we'll see what happens when that's dry. We might need to put some white in there to bring back some of the lights, but I've never really done anything like that before. Emphasize the ends of the wings a little bit. It's a nice light effect. Worth exploring, do you think? Okay, so that's that. That's a Sennelier transparent waterproof ink, and we'll see how that dries out. Okay, and while we're here, I just want to have a quick look at my palette, which is a bit different from most people's. I use this system of little dishes. Okay. Each little dish has got one kind of paint in it. I've got it written on the side what it is. That's Schminke Hooker's Green, that one. This is Winsor and Newton Cobalt Blue. And the advantage of this is, it's pretty obvious really. You can pick up the paint from here knowing that it's not really going to mix with anything else on your palette, and then you can take that to another palette another one of these big white trays. You can put your paint on there, pick up a second colour from the little dishes and blend it and see what you've got, and then you can go ahead and paint with it. I find that works really well for me. I like that system. It's a refinement. I used to have, as you can see, because this has got labels all around the edges, I used to have my paints all arranged around the outside edge. For years I had it like that, and then I came across these little dishes, which are handmade china dishes. They're made in a home for people who are mentally challenged in Germany. They're made by hand. And anyway, so I decided to give that a try, and it's working really well because I can see at a glance my whole range of colours, and I can mix them up cleanly on that palette over there. So there we are. I think that's all I want. Oh yeah, I just mentioned this little book I made. If you happen to have one of these things, a comb binder machine, or if you have access to somewhere like Office Depot where they use these, you can make your own little sketchbooks. I looked online I was thinking about buying some new sketchbooks the other day, because I've got loads of sheets of paper but they're not in book form, and I wasn't on there, was I? I'll do that again. Just to talk about these little sketchbooks which I made. And yeah, so you just cut the paper up and use a comb binder to put it together, and that's ideal. I've made a bigger one as well. And this is brilliant. I haven't used this one yet. Just cheap paper, bound, cost me nothing. If you did that in, I don't know, it's probably worth getting a comb binder. You can get them from Lidl for next to nothing, and very, very useful going forward. So that's a thought. Okay, now I am going to have to go and have lunch, and this afternoon we'll do a video about dragonflies. So I'll just say goodbye for now, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.